Hello. Alrighty, day 5. I hope you all are still with me, and if this is the first day you are catching, you're probably going to want to pause this and go back to the beginning, all the way to day 1. It seems like forever ago, where we did our assessment, and then we've worked through the different elements of our core that need to be functioning and learning how to train all of those so that your whole abs can be better. We're doing it all in just 5 days, so really cool. Obviously, you're not at the end of your journey here at day 5, but you do know pretty much everything, or at least a ton of resources and tips and tricks to get your core working, and how to check yourself to find out if it is or isn't. So today, as promised, this is when we're going to put it all together. Now, if you have the guide, it should be in the email. So again, if you're not getting the emails, let me know. I'll make sure on my end that they're going through, or just retype in your email and we'll get them all to you. Because that has your daily challenge exercises. So, and the exercises for today are actually a part of my very own postpartum program. It's called the First 6. So these are some of the exercises you do in the first week. So really exciting, and they're going to look super simple. But the trick is you have to use your breath to move. This is what helps your brain coordinate with the muscles. It helps activate the muscles and make the right muscles do the job. They're really simple movements, which is good, but it's important to do them correctly. So we're going to break those down. We're also going to go through some more functional baby stuff today, like how to pick up the car seat, how to hold baby, a little note about baby wraps, and then got one question on belly button. I might forget. I didn't write that part down. I'll try to remember. Okay, so let's get to it. So this one could be a little bit long, but I'll try not to. Plus, I have a kid home today, so this could get interesting. So, all right, moving y'all down to the floor. Okay, so there's 3 exercises that we're going to do today. They're all on your back, and what you'll notice is I write over and over, you have to breathe to move. Did y'all see that? Breathe to move. Those of you down here, breathe to move, right? Say it with me. Breathe to move. Okay, so you're going to be on your back, and your feet are bent, or feet are flat on the ground, knees are bent, and you're going to have a nice big inhale here. Again, I always like to start with the inhale. I don't know how to do this and talk at the same time. So you're going to inhale, and then as you exhale, I always start on the right side just because I always do. You can start on your left side if you want to. As you exhale, I want you to feel that lift in your pelvic floor and that corset close around you. Remember, we talked about this yesterday where it feels like you're hugging baby almost, as if baby was still inside your uterus and they're growing nice and strong. So exhale, and as you exhale, lift. Can you see this? You probably can't. This is a terrible example. Oh, you're wearing socks on today. So you're going to exhale and lift that right foot just like an inch or so off the ground. A lot of you, you're going to do this at first. No, just stay right here. And then as you get to the top of that little tiny, like 1 inch, then inhale, lower it down. Okay? So exhale is the lift. Feel that lift in your pelvic floor. Hug that imaginary baby. Inhale, lower it down. Now, again, see, super simple, right? The trick is, what you'll notice is you should feel all those deep core muscles. I've even seen women at the start of this, they start shaking like, oh my gosh, I'm shaking so hard. How am I shaking? Your leg weighs something. I know there's no weights involved in this, but your leg does have weight. If you've got the proper alignment in this position, and this will apply for all 3 moves, so pay attention here. What I want your low back into the ground. I don't want you to feel like you're pushing anything down. This is not the same as just like sucking your belly button to your spine. But your pelvis is in neutral. So go ahead. Maybe if I scoot back, you will see more. It's hard to see because all these little lines pop up. So I don't want your back to be arched. I want you to think about your pelvic tipping into that neutral position. So you could tuck it where the bottoms of your cheeks come up, or you could arch it where you could fit a hand underneath here. That's not what we're going for. We want the middle. So you should feel some tension in your core just as it is. And now let's talk about your ribs, because this is a really important part that we tend to skip. I'm just really flying here of all the things. So our ribs, we can tend to arch, almost like where you're you won't feel like you're pressing yourself forwards, but when you're on your back, what happens is you can be pressing upwards. Your headlights are going upwards. It's almost like you're arching your back. And we want to think about closing our ribs. So we've talked about this earlier, but quick refresher. Imagine you have lines painted on here. You can even take lipstick or something and paint lines here. And when you're on your back, you want those to be coming closer together. That's a good way to tell. Even just imaginary ones. You can draw them if you want to. See if you have that rib engagement, or if you're splaying it out. Because I'll tell you what, if you're splaying your ribs out when you're on your back, you're not going to generate the tension you need in your core to strengthen it. When you splay your ribs out, you're lengthening those fibers so they're not able to contract the way they were designed to. pregnancy lengthens those fibers, and that's how we kind of got into this mess in the first place, right? So when you're on your back, I want you to check your posture before I do anything. I should have said that first time, sorry. So when you're on your back, we did the toe raise. The next one is called a foot slide out. So, okay, and I'm going fast because I don't want to take this forever. Read the sheet. I think it says 10 on each side, okay? So you do 10 on one side and then switch and do 10 on the other side. Now we're on to the second move. Are you with me? Yes, okay. So second move is a foot slide out. So same position, you're gonna have neutral pelvis, ribs are closed, so you've got that tension in your core. You're not holding it, you're not bracing, but you can feel a little bit of tension. So you're gonna start with a nice big inhale where you do soften and relax. You're not arching or opening with the inhale, you're keeping that neutral posture. And you're gonna inhale and straighten, I'm gonna take my foot to you. Straighten that front leg, your right leg, as you open it up. Now, you're gonna start to exhale, close your pelvic, lift your pelvic floor, close your corset muscles, and think about it's your core pulling that back, okay? So inhale, it goes out. Exhale, lift, close, move. That's the cue I usually use in all my classes and with clients. Lift, close, move. Pull it back. Inhale it out. Exhale, lift, close, move. All right. Anyone have questions on that? Okay. Now I'm going to say something that this is what I see with a lot of clients when we do this is they'll start to see a doming way down here, right at belly button or just below. It'll kind of pooch up. It's hard to make yourself do it when you're trained not to, but it'll almost like dome up like a little bit, or a lot of it. It'll kind of just be like you're pushing it out. That's what we don't want to do. That's your body's last ditch attempt because it's lacking the strength or activation to pull your leg in, okay? So if you're having a really hard time keeping that corset closed and you find that you're trying to push the corset out, I want you to stop and I want you to change up the range of motion. So keep it up close and then just go out just a little bit, like halfway maybe, and then come back. So instead of straightening out all the way, you'll only straighten out half the way. If you start seeing that like pooch, where it's doming out or something on you, that's what we don't want to do. That's a dysfunction and you're just going to perpetuate the cycle. So stop it right there. We're going to come back to that point in a second too with the pooching. The third exercise, so we've done the first one, that was the toe raise, then we did the foot slide out, now we're on the arm circles. And I love this one. This one is one that you're like, what is this actually going to do? But if you do it right and you have your alignment on, you will feel this in your core. Okay, so same position. Let's see, let's get back here. I think you'll be able to see it. Okay, so you can't see my feet, but feet, knees are all in the same position. This is home right up here. So check your alignment. You've got pelvis in neutral. You've got ribs nicely closed. And you're going to take a big inhale as you lower your arms. And then once they get to about here, or wherever your range of motion is, some of you might have not as flexible shoulders. As you exhale, you're going to scoop them around in a circle and come back up. So I typically start my inhale right about here. And my inhale keeps going here. And then big exhale as we sweep. Inhale. Exhale and sweep. What tends to happen though once our arms get past about here is our ribs, everything's going to want to puff up. We don't want that. You've got to use the tension, use the strength in your core to hold it still. Okay, Jacqueline, honey, now, right now. Almost done. So that's the part where that's really going to build up that tension, and it's that strength, but it's a really core safe position, right? We're not even having any weights, but you will feel it. So later on in the program, we change up the directions and the intensity, and we do different things with our arms to challenge our core even more. So I really love that one. They're all quick and easy to do. No, not right now. And honestly, if you have a baby and your baby wants tummy time, you can tell me anything. Please just wait.
Really quick.
Really quick. No, this is not when you're supposed to talk to me.
I'll start to the game up.
Okay. All right. This always happens, right? You can lay baby on your tummy. If baby wants tummy time, you do tummy time, right? It kind of works out because your hips aren't moving. It's not a glute bridge or anything. That works really well. Okay, any questions on those? Yes, it's not just me, right? She's not normally here, but we had a rough little morning. So, all right, what else do I want to talk about? Okay, pick up and hinge. Oh, I was going to grab a laundry hamper. Okay, we're just going to use a hot water bucket and just pretend like it's my laundry hamper. So, all right, thanks for traveling all around with me. I know this is not quite so convenient, but okay. camera's back up. So we're gonna talk about picking up car seat or laundry hamper or grocery bags or pretty much anything you'd have to pick up off the floor. So imagine this is the car seat, you got your handle up, and I'm gonna show you how I normally used to do it. I used to kind of like bend all funny like this, and then I'd like hook it under and I'd pop it up, right? And so that's a lot on one side. What actually happens is it's the opposite side that gets really strong. So what I want you to do instead, be really awesome, just handle it whole. I want you to face your car seat, however it would be. So if your car seat's like, you know, baby's, the car seat's going this way, the handle's this way. What you're gonna do is you're gonna hinge, okay, now I just turned, see? Hinge at the hips, grab it, you're gonna squeeze up through the glutes and come, and then you can slide a hand over. And ideally, guys, if you can, and moms with more than one kid, I'd love for you to chime in on this one. Try to change. It feels so funny, but try to change which side you carry the car seat on, because what ends up happening is you get a really dominant one side of your core, and it's really hard to get the other side working. So I'll show you that again. Imagine this. So this could be like laundry hamper. This could be grocery bag. Unless you're able to squat and lift. But most women, you can tell me if I'm wrong, that I've worked with, and I know for myself, if I tried to squat and pick up a weight right after baby for that first couple months, that was not going to be a good thing. That puts a lot on your pelvic floor that we just probably don't need to do. So I really like the hinge because it's safer for pelvic floor. So you hinge, and again, so this is just, it's almost like a deadlift type move if you're familiar with lifting. Hinge and lift, okay? That's a big thing. Another one, if you have twins or something, you can try to do that as well, but another one I like for that is a lunge, where you would lunge and then lift. So lunge and then lift. Even if it is just one and you can vary up the side that you lift on, you're doing okay. But again, lunging is a little harder on pelvic floor too. Okay, that one kind of took a long time. Sorry. Next two things,